Gabriel, how are you?
Not so bad in the middle of a typhoon here in the Philippines.
Oh, you are?
Yeah, it's what is it? It's the fifth, I think, since typhoon season started.
Oh, wow. Is that unusual?
No, it's pretty normal this time of year.
Wow, that's crazy. Hope everybody stays safe.
Yep, it's been it's been raining for almost 7 hours already.
Oh my gosh,
Yep.
that's nuts. Are you getting flooding?
My area doesn't. But there are some other areas in the city that does.
Wowzer, that's brutal.
Mm-hmm. We're used to it already.
Yeah, I don't get that kind of stuff here. We just get blizzards, but even that's not very often, so crazy.
Hmm.
Okay, so today we're doing postcards. So, um, postcards, you would go into, hang on, I gotta make sure I'm in the right account. I am. Okay, so in campaigns, you can either go direct mail or go create campaign. We're gonna go direct mail. In this example, we're gonna advertise a listing. So either of you guys as agents have an active listing we could pull on?
Um, Alta Vista is still active on our end.
What's the address on that?
1314 Alta Vista.
Okay, so we'll just use that as an example. We'll
Yep.
title it Alta Vista in the mailer, advertise listing. I gotta hide my controls here. There we go. We're gonna create campaign. We can search directly for a listing. And that one right there. And I know she did a mailer for this one. I had a copy of the card and it didn't
Was
come
this the
out
one that
right.
was cut off?
Yeah. Yeah, it was cut off on the back side and then the front side had marketing copy where the mailing address and stuff goes. So
Oh.
we'll see if we can figure that out. So bear with me. I'm trying to work with Zoom at the same time so I can actually see my stuff. Okay, so you can do this a couple different ways. We're just going to look at doing one of the pre-built templates. You can also go in and do your own custom templates. So it kind of fills in the information for us at the bottom here. It just pulls it right out of the listing. So we're just going to confirm price is correct, 4-bed, 3-bath. Yep. And the address. Up here, you could change the listing if you decide to do a different one. You can just go back in there and it brings up all of your active listings. You can change that if you wanted to. So we've got our default templates under content and upload a custom template. So we're just going to do a default custom template. You can do in either designs in command here, and I recommend you go this route for now anyways, to use Canva. It can be really hard to get them to scale correctly and fit the postcard correctly. So I haven't played with that much. We're just going to use a default. Here you can do your different sizes. You can go all the way up to a 6 by 11 inch. We're going to do a compact, just your normal standard size postcard. Listing details is where you can edit some stuff here. So um, not sure why you would, other than you want it to read a little differently. Like this capitalizes it. Maybe you don't want it to read all caps. I don't Not sure why you would change it, especially the price, because it needs to match what it actually says in the MLS, of course. Here you can put just listed or just sold, know where we operate is coming soon allowed. So we're going to do like a just listed in this example. So you can see it put just listed in our template there. Number of bedrooms, number of bath, and then your description. So there's the back of it. So you can see that it pre-fills the description in based off the remarks that are punched in on the actual listing in the MLS. You can't fit all of that in your postcard here. So we're going to edit it a little bit. We're going to stop at, where's a good place to stop? We're going to stop after privacy between levels. So we'll find that in here. Not seeing it for some reason. Okay. So we're just going to delete everything after that. You can see how many more characters are allowed in the MLS versus what will fit on a postcard. Okay, that fits nicely on that postcard. So on the back of the postcard, it's going to show your remarks, the address at the top. On the right-hand side is the legal disclaimer that's required by our brokerage agreement with Keller Williams to be on there. That pre-fills in various locations depending on which template you're using. If you're doing a custom template, that wording exactly as shown right here needs to be on there. And then of course it does your recipient address, the USPS bulk scanning code, where the postage will print, return address, information here, and then your agent's info here. And then again, if you're doing a custom, make sure these are on there. You need the realtor logo and you need the fair housing logo. So those on your default template fill in automatically. So notice if we go back to the front, it did not pre-fill a photo because it allows you to select here. So we're going to go into listing image. And let's see which one looks good. That one kind of cuts off the top of the house. And this is why it allows you to select. Because what looks good on the MLS may not fit on a postcard very well. That one's a little better. Let's see what this one looks like. I like that one. If I was actually mailing this postcard, that's probably the one I would use. You can also do a completely different image if you go into upload image. So now this is a problem everybody keeps running into is these images from the MLS aren't sizing correctly. Normally, if you hover over it, it'll tell you what the error is, but you can see how we've got this error displayed here. Low resolution. Okay, so this one will actually print. It's just giving us the low resolution warning that it may not come out as crisp on the postcard as what it looks in the MLS. So what I've done in the past to get around that is to actually get the photo directly from what the photographer sent and use the same photo but load it in manually. The problem we have is these photos are being pulled in from the MLS, and when you punch the photos into the MLS actually takes them and downgrades the quality a little bit to save storage space. So when we're pulling them out of the MLS and putting them on a postcard, that downgrade is going to reflect in a lower resolution. They come out looking okay, but they're just not as crisp as direct from the photographer. So we're going to go ahead with this one in our example, just because that's the only thing I have access to. But if I was actually mailing this postcard, especially on a $700,000 listing, I would definitely go and pull the actual photo from the photographer's file that he sent, right? Just to get a little crisper image. You can also add a QR code for tracking, and that should have been put on the back. Not sure why it's not showing up, but it should stick a QR code somewhere on here. Oh, because I haven't assigned it a landing page. There we go. And they'll put a QR code on here for tracking. And then you can go and look how many people have scanned it and ended up on that page. So if you made like a landing page for this individual property, you can QR link it right back to that landing page, and then you'll get a nice little report in your email, in your agent's email, I should say, that shows after, I think it's 30 days, how many people ended up back at that site. I've mailed a couple times through Command. I've never done one with a QR code, so we probably just have to play with that. I would definitely recommend it though, because it doesn't really hurt anything. Create your own landing page for this property, or bring it back to the agent contact, which I think is what I selected. No, I selected the whole. So we could go, this will bring that QR code to my contact page on my website. And that gives people an opportunity to hopefully make contact with your agent when they're interested. So that's how you load a default. I mean, it's as quick as that. It's and this is the cheapest postcard option. It's the smallest one. So if this was just listed, you could mail this exactly how it is right now, and it should come out pretty darn well. Gabriel, when you guys did the one that came out funny, what was different than what I just showed? What did you guys did you use a custom template?
To be honest, I'm not sure. Usually Farah is the one who does our marketing, so I could check with her and then maybe
Okay.
see what's different.
Okay, gotcha. So look, because I got a copy of that card, and the front of it looked like this exact template,
Okay.
but the back of it looked custom. I'm pretty sure she did a custom template. And what happened was the remarks printed where the address goes, so everything was kind of shifted. This column was shifted over here. And then of course they have to be able to mail it. So this block with the return address and stuff was printed over the top of her marketing copy.
Okay.
If you use a default template and it gets cut and shipped wrong, you can ask them for credit. It takes some doing and it takes some time, but you can ask them for credit and they'll refund everything but the shipping cost in my experience. But if you
Okay.
use custom template and it comes out wrong, there's nothing you can do about it. Because no matter what you say, they're basically going to go back and blame the agent, right? Or whoever did the marketing, right? So since it looked like it was custom, there was nothing I could do for her to try to get some money back. But you know, in the future, if it's default and it comes out incorrectly, we can definitely fight to get some cash returned. This is the agent info. So you can adjust cropping. I can replace this image. This loads from the marketing profile in command. So mine, I use a logo instead of my face. Most agents, I would definitely recommend their face be in the photo instead, but that's what I use. You can definitely change that right here with replace image. You can change the name as well. And I wanted to try and see if, yeah. Command likes to, I don't know if you guys saw that before, but likes to jumble all the telephone numbers together and not block it out properly. So it looks like you're able to fix that now. Just by going and putting a dash in there.
Okay.
Market Center pre-fills with KW Black Hills. This again loads from marketing profile, so it should be just fine. Keep in mind, again, if you do a custom template, that brokerage information is required by law. Got the correct address and everything in there. Targeting. Since we did a listing advertisement, it automatically pre-filled the address in there. You can also set it to target your database, which is pretty cool. I have not done one of these ever. But what you would do is select target by database, like I've got here, go add contacts. And then the best way to do it is to search by tag. So you'd actually have to start with figuring out which tag you are going to mail it to. So where I've seen other agents do this is like, say they take a listing that would be perfect for an investor maybe to pick up and fix it up and then sell it, or you know, it's a fourplex and it'd be great for investors to invest in as multifamily. So they would go in and pull all of their contacts that are tagged investor and then send it all to those addresses. It's pretty cool. It takes an agent that really runs a healthy database though and has tags set up correctly and so on and so forth. But that's how you would do that. And I think this here is underutilized by agents. A lot are doing postcards just around the neighborhood for new listings, especially. But I think there's gold to be mined here with sending it to your database based on tags. So we'll stick with local targeting for now. And then budget. So minimum is, no, there's a minimum. I think it's 100. It'll let you go. It used to be 100 minimum. So we'll call it 100. Oops. And then tells you your estimated price right here. And that includes printing the postcard, cutting the postcard, addressing it based around the 100 closest addresses that they can find near that address, and we'll send them automatically. So we'll save that. So that would be a pretty cheap way to get it done. There's no way you're getting that done anywhere cheaper that I've ever found. So 100 postcards for 77 bucks. Got our postcard set up. Then we'd go here to configure targeting. Whoops. I missed something here. What did I miss? Oh, zip code didn't fill in. Okay, confirm address. Hopefully I'm not getting charged. Otherwise, no, here we go. Okay, number of homes to target. So this brings up your targeting page where you can get a little more specific on how you want it to be targeted. You can go by radius, you can draw around it. or a polygon shape to draw around it. We can change our target here. Keep in mind, of course, your budget's going to change like we saw on that first screen. You can target by property type, single family, which includes townhomes, manufactured homes, and you can go multifamily if you want it to go to like apartment complexes and such. I'm not sure an example of why you would want to do that, but you can. You can also get really specific on what size homes you want it to go to when it was last sold. So maybe you don't want it to go to houses that sold recently. You can change that here. And last sold for, you can change those. So we're doing, in our example here, we're doing a simple just listed. So probably you just want to basically spam the neighborhood, right? But if you were doing a more custom postcard, like an example would be how much equity do you have in your house, right? And trying to get people to reconsider that maybe they could actually sell their home and purchase something different. You wouldn't really want a postcard like that going to houses that just sold, meaning just bought like a year or two ago, because they're not going to have any equity. So you're just wasting money on postcards you don't need to be sending. So maybe you want to get specific and say, I want this to go out to this neighborhood in houses that sold between 5 and 20 years ago. You would change that here. So 20 years ago, I guess that would be 2024, right? Or 2004. So in that example, we're only going to send to houses that sold between 2004 and 2019. So you know you're not sending to people that pretty recently bought their house. Just as an example, I'd probably go even older than that and just let it go to anybody that hasn't purchased recently. And then first class mail is your only option. And then you can send a copy to the company address. You do get charged one of the 77 cents for it in this example, but that is how I was able to see the one that Sarah sent before, is because it showed up here because she selected that. So it'll send a copy to the market center address so you can see what you're sending. So I would always do that. So you can see it increased it by the 77 cents. After that, you go next, and it goes on to how you're going to pay for it. So we won't go to the next screen because I don't want to pay for these, but you can draw, oops. You can draw around the area you want it to go. Reset it. You can go fill in a shape. So it'll send to that area. You can just go by radius, which is auto selected. So it'll just go the first in our example. We're up to 200 for some reason, but 200 properties directly surrounding that address. So you can get really specific. So, you know, an example might be we've got a bunch of neighborhoods where there's like a mobile home park next door. Well, maybe you don't want that mailing to go to the mobile home park. You could just draw through the neighborhood and basically deselect that area. So give you an example, let's say we don't want it to go to anybody on this side of 5th Street. We've got 5th Street going down the middle here. So we can, oops, excuse my poor drawing, but you could just draw around this neighborhood here. So we're excluding this neighborhood across the street, which I actually would in this example because these are significantly different customers than you would find over here. And notice too, it automatically adjusted how many mailings you're going to be able to have, because in my drawn area, there's only 79 targets. There's only 79 homes that they have the address for. So it's going to automatically adjust it. So let's say I wanted to include up to Sheridan Lake Road here, which I actually would in this example. Now we're up to 199, so it's got 199 addresses. You can just back that back out to your 100. And it's going to just randomly deselect some of them to get you back down to your budgets. That makes sense?
Yep.
Perfect. And that's pretty much all there is to it. Go here to go next, and that's how you pay for it. So we'll go back. It saved it as a draft with me going back there. You can do other options too, direct mail. Let's do let's see what attract buyers looks like. I've never done one of these, so we're learning together. So it looks like it actually brought up the same default template. Okay, you can see where it's writing it in here. And that must be showing on the back. Yep. So it brought up the same template. So this one you can get really custom and you're basically writing text. And then what I would do in this example is like in Canva or Designs, make an image that you wanted to put in here. So, you know, say you wanted to do one for interest rates have improved, you might be able to afford a home and not realize it. You would make an image to put into this blank space here, and you would just load it as a photo right here off your computer, Canva or whatever you want to do. And then you just go through the same process. You find where you're going to target. So you go targeting. You punch in like, here's the market center's address. You could start based off that location, whatever address you want to find. And you can just build your own custom postcard with this at the bottom. And then it guides you right through. If you stay with the defaults, it's not going to print incorrectly. And then you put your word in here. Nice image there. So another good example would be, let's say, this is really common this kind of time of year, is sending postcards to database for Thanksgiving pie giveaways. Really common. We've got a bunch of agents that do exactly that. I would create an image in like Canva that has your pie giveaway that fills this space, keeping in mind that postcards are pretty small. So, you know, make sure your wording is correctly sized. It's going to look smaller than you realize. Create your pie giveaway image to load into here. And then I would target database, add contacts. And like in my example, I would do my 33 touch tag, which I'm in my personal account, and my 33 touches are in my team account, so they're not going to show up. But that's who I do events for. So I'd go in and pull everybody with that tag, and assuming there's an address on that contact card, it'll pull in, and then boom, I just in a few minutes created a postcard I can send to everybody in my database that I want to receive one of my pies. So pretty straightforward. And then your budget will auto adjust too if you pull in by database. So if you pull 1,000 people in, it's going to try to load 1,000 postcards, assuming there's an address for everybody. That one didn't save as draft because I didn't do much with it. See what else we got in direct mail. So attract talent. Let's see what that one looks like. That's for recruiting. And again, it's just loading the same default template, which is fine. And this one, you would just pull in database, or an address, or hey, have you ever thought about being a real estate agent type content? And just go through the same process. Another thing I want to show you is, let's go back to this one. Okay, notice these are 77 cents for the smallest ones. Your preview changes a little bit because it can't fit in the screen, and your default changes a little bit based on the size of the postcard. So this one, you can see how it changed the bottom, and it put in this fading, and it does print that fading. And then the back of your postcard changed a little bit. So if you change the size, make sure you go in and adjust your information accordingly. Got a lot more room. It's a much larger postcard. These are huge postcards. Got a lot more room to write. You can put in some more information in here. You notice how small our footer legal notice got, and our price will change accordingly. These are up to $1 for a piece, which is still pretty darn cheap. But that's a 6x11 postcard. That's pretty darn big. So each of the price sizes, excuse me, changes various things. So 6x9, that's got an even different template. So much more room to write here. It shifted everything over a little bit. Front, this is my favorite for sure. These print really nicely too. Changes the wording. So just watch your template, make sure you're in the correct size before you start designing it, basically is what I'm saying. And these ones cost, let me see, what are we at? 95 cents each, which is a steal. This is the size I've done before, and they print really, really nice. So it's as straightforward as that. Best advice I can give you is if you're doing a custom template, be very, very careful. On the payment page, it shows you an official preview of what the card will look like. If you're doing a custom template, I would probably screenshot that your template and your preview looked correct before you order the printing. So if something does go wrong, maybe there's a chance you could fight it, but the default ones come out pretty darn good. Questions? Otherwise, pretty simple, pretty simple.
Yeah, none for me.
None for me as well.
Perfect, perfect. Well, appreciate it, guys. If you go to do one and need help and want to run it by me before you click the pay button, let me know. Happy to help you. Hate to see anybody having postcards that don't come out correct because of, you know, reputation plus expense. So, you know, happy to help. Just let me know.
Yeah,
Okey-dokey.
thank you.
Thank you. See you guys.